Okay, so welcome back guys. Tonight we are looking at Sndl over the past week or so. Sndl in the past 5 days, it is down. Sndl in the past day, furthermore, it is down again. If we can get a number on it, we can see that now we are down by 5% over the past day or so. So again, not a great day for Sndl. Things were looking so promising in the past month. We can see we have actually escaped that rut where the share price was falling. We picked ourselves up by a decent amount actually. Looking from the lows to the highs that we have seen recently, up by about 37%. So things were really doing quite good in that time frame. Again, though, going back to the 1 month chart, we can see it just wasn't enough to sustain as Sndl in that time frame has actually fallen down. We can see that we hit lows down here at about the $1.54 level. Now at that point I was thinking that this one's okay. I thought that there was some potential for it to go back up, and then we saw it fall by a bit more. I think that was fine, and even at this point here things were not doing too bad. In fact, this day we saw a bit of green, which was decent. However, since then we have seen a very steep sell-off in the share price. A lot of people are going to be asking why and what I would personally do with Sndl, looking at how we have been moving in recently, well, the past 5 days mainly. So if you may enjoy hearing my personal opinions, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Obviously I am not a financial advisor, so I definitely recommend that you do your own research, and of course make sure to watch other people's videos, read some news as well. Just make up your own opinions with as much information and knowledge as you possibly can. But now that I've mentioned that to you guys, let us jump into this one, looking at Sndl over the past week. So one thing that I want to start off with is how the share price has been moving, and again that is quite unfortunate. If we look over here on the Yahoo Finance charts, things not looking too great. We are seeing constant candles to the downside, quite steep red candles actually. Now if we look at today, the candle is pretty prevalent. The body of the candle is mainly to the downside, and there is a little wick sticking up. Now that is quite an indication, in my opinion at least, of a lot of selling pressure. Again, this one is actually picking itself up slightly towards the end of session, but again that candle is quite long and quite red. So the wick is sticking up to the upside. We can see it's quite a long wick, so we have fallen by a significant amount in price. Again, we can see a lot of selling pressure as the candle wick towards the bottom isn't even showing, as the candle is mostly red. Again, look at this one yesterday, we can see a pretty even candle, and the stock could have really gone either way today, and like you can see, the highs of the day weren't too bad, but unfortunately it just wasn't sustainable as the share price did continue to fall. But where we are right now, I think we're in a very interesting position with Sndl overall. A few things which I want to draw your attention to before we look any further. Of course, a few of the indexes or indices do give us an indication of how the general markets are moving. Now the S&P today is actually down from 9:30 up until now, down by about 0.17%. That doesn't sound like too big of a decrease, and it's not, but of course the S&P is a pretty stable index anyway. It doesn't really move by too much. The Russell 2000 may be a bit of a better indicator. This tracks 2,000 of the smallest companies in the United States, and this one is down by a rather large amount actually. We can see, if we do look, we're down by about 1.24%, so again, not the largest, but it is an index, so it's not going to move by too much anyway. Looking over to the Dow Jones, however, we can see that the Dow Jones, if it will let me highlight that, it is actually up by a bit, and again, this is actually 30 of the largest American companies, so this one is up by about 0.4%. So not up by too much, and the other two are down. So overall the market isn't necessarily doing too well at the moment, and it is hard to say where the market as a whole is going to go. And I think with the market being quite red today, it does make sense that Sndl is falling as well, right? If the whole market is doing badly, or even if the whole market is doing good, Sndl is likely to follow, as a lot of stocks probably will. Obviously there is not really much of a reason at the moment for this one to outshine the general market, so there you go. But yeah, where we stand right now, I think it's not a bad position. Would I buy Sndl at the moment? Personally, I think it is a decent buy, but again, I would definitely use a dollar cost averaging strategy. I'd be buying this one every 1 to 3 days. I wouldn't buy this one, in one big lump sum, just in case it was to fall by a large amount. Let's say, for example, I wanted to buy 100 shares of Sndl. I would buy perhaps 10 today, 10 in 3 days, and so on and so on. Again, pick your time period, but in my opinion, I think that if we use a dollar cost averaging strategy, I personally do believe it is the safest approach, which will allow us to get shares for the best price. So Sndl I have spoken about from a fundamental standpoint before. I think that the company is decent. I think where we are right now is quite interesting because, again, we have seen this period in the past 6 months where the share price rocketed all the way to about $3, and ever since we have been down. So I think this sell-off is bound to end pretty soon. I would like to see this one level out above the $1 range, and if this one does level out above the $1 range, I would be quite happy. I think at that point it could be a decent buy, but again, I will be watching Sndl in the next few days and weeks. But again, if you are looking to buy this one, I would use a dollar cost averaging strategy to obviously not buy the largest amount of shares in one go and get a perhaps worse price for it. That's just my opinion though. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you again soon. Goodbye until then.